Great morning, great morning, great morning. Come on in, come on in. Get your papers and pen. I tell you, it is cold here in Texas, but we are here and we are here to celebrate Black History Month and in honor of a young man by the name of King Hezekiah Griggs III. So, allow me to greet you this morning, equipped, empowered, poised, and positioned to move those who are ready to move is my ultimate mission. I wake up every day with a smile on my face, determined to make a difference in my assigned place. You see, my purpose, my passion, and my focus is to take you from where you are to where you want to be. I am Pamela Lue-Hing, better known as Coach P, with Powerhouse Unlimited LLC, and I welcome you here this morning. So, welcome to the Ultimate Planning Hour. So, what is the Ultimate Planning Hour about? Let me share with you what it's all about. Great morning. Welcome to the Ultimate Planning Hour, where women coaches and entrepreneurs come to be educated, equipped, and empowered to plan your work and work your plans. Join me here on the Powerhouse in Motion campus every Monday at 10 a.m. Central Time to maximize each day, optimize your performance, and bring harmony to your life. So that is exactly what we do. We are coming to you every single Monday morning at 10 a.m. to bring harmony to your life, to work with those and share with those women out there who are life and business coaches and entrepreneurs who are ready to be educated, equipped, and empowered to package your brilliance and build a life and business you love. And so this month, of course, is Black History Month, and we are celebrating various people throughout the month. And so today, I wanted to be able to celebrate a young man who was very near and dear to so many, including myself, by the name of King Hezekiah Griggs III. So King Hezekiah Griggs truly was an incredible young man. He was an entrepreneur and a philanthropist. He was an investor. He was the founder and managing partner of H360 Capital, an early stage venture capital firm, making him the youngest African-American venture capitalist. He was also a college lecturer and motivational speaker. And he was a change agent. So I have today his mom with me, and I hope that we're able to get her on here and connect it. Let's see if she is here, and let's see if we can bring her on this morning. Okay, for some reason we have lost her. Let's see here. Hello there, Shirley. So good to see you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for being here. Okay, it looks like, okay, Ms. Sharon, if you can hear me, it says that you'll need to connect your mic and your cam before I can add you to the stream. Okay, so I'll wait for you to get connected and then we will bring you on. Can you hear me? There
Yes,
you
I
are.
can.
Welcome, 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 welcome to the Ultimate Planning Hour, Ms. Sharon.
Thank you for having me.
I am so thrilled and so honored that you are here this morning as I was sharing with everyone about your beautiful, beautiful son, King Hezekiah, as I call him, and he liked to be called King Hezekiah. Yes,
Yes,
yes, he
yes,
did.
yes.
And so the purpose of today really is just to honor his life and his legacy because King Hezekiah, he made such a tremendous impact. And so I wanted to just share with you this morning and share with everyone his mom because no one else knew him better than his own mom. And so I wanted to have her. So I thank you for accepting the invitation to be here today.
No problem.
So you've never heard the story, but King Hezekiah and I connected in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was with the Young Black Leadership Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with them, and I was volunteering at that time. And the Young Black Leadership Alliance is an incredible organization for young Black. At that time, it was Black males, and then they, of course, expanded to Black females as well. But it's a leadership development program, one of the best leadership development programs in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I was volunteering with them, and we talked about doing a conference. And they said, it'd be great to find some young millionaires. And I said, okay, well, let me see what I can do. And so God would have it that one young man that was recommended was unable to come. And then someone recommended King Hezekiah. And so we connected. He flew into Charlotte along with two other young men.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in love at that point because, Hezekiah had his way.
Yes, Lord. Yes, he did.
He had his way, and I hope you don't mind. He called me Mama Pam. I became Mama Pam. He actually stayed with me several
That's
times,
okay. That's all right.
several times. So, can you
That's all
tell
right.
us a little bit about Hezekiah, King Hezekiah, and how he was as a young man? Because he was so charismatic. He was like that all his life. Yes.
He came into the world an old man. He, when kids were watching cartoons, he was watching CNN,
Mm,
MSNBC. He was not he wasn't an ordinary child. Believe me when I tell you, he
yeah.
was boisterous. He was always articulate. I don't know where he got it from, but from a baby, he knew how to communicate with adults. He didn't mess with children.
Yeah.
He always sat down with adults and gave them and crossed his leg like he was a grown old man, 4 years old, talking to people.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, we have a video that I'd love to play. And then we're going to come back
Oh,
and
sure.
talk about some of his accomplishments and some things that he did really to impact so many people, young, old, and everybody in between. Okay. So let's take a moment
Yes.
to watch the video.
Okay.
What's good, everybody? This is Hezekiah Griggs III, not Chance the Rapper, as everyone at the airport for some reason these days thinks I am. One more person stops me, I'm going to lose my mind. But nonetheless, I want to say thank you so much for all of the messages, phone calls, emails, however you reached out to me to wish me a happy birthday. I am so grateful. I'm always humbled by the messages and the testimonials from people from all over the world about how I've impacted their life, either by what I've said or done for them. So I'm so grateful for that. Today is my 28th birthday. I've been doing this work for a very long time, but the best part about it is that the work still continues. Purpose has not found its resting place, and the dream is still deferred. And so we're going to continue to keep pressing and pushing and being excellent in everything that we do every day of our lives. And I'm so grateful that you'll join me on that journey. Thank you so much. I love you.
Wow.
That was his last video.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I just was looking for some.
Let's see if we can. Are we back? Okay.
Yeah, that was his last video
Wow.
for his birthday. He was my birthday present. My birthday was the 25th. He was supposed to be born on my birthday, but he waited 2 days after. He was born on the 27th of October.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
As I watched that video, pardon me 1 second here. Pardon me.
That's okay.
As I watched the video and I really listened to his heart. Sharon, that video embraced, embodied his heart.
Yes.
And it was truly his final message to all of us.
It was.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
It
It
was.
just took me back when I listened to it, just, you know, he summarized his life because he did. He impacted so many all over the world.
Yeah.
So when did he, he was a philanthropist, of course. He was an entrepreneur. He was an investor. He did so much. And he was a preacher, Sharon. And I didn't
Yeah, he
realize,
was, baby. Yes, he could. He could lay it down.
yes, he could. He could.
Hmm.
And so let's talk about when he grew up. I know that when he was about 12 or 13, right? He did something with the kids at his school or a project that he did. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, he first started making money when he was about 7 or 9. He
Okay.
would go to the store and buy candy and sell it to his grandmother and grandfather. Then his grandfather bought him a camera, so he would start record. His grandfather was a preacher, so he would start recording the sessions, and he would start selling the tapes. So he made a phenomenal amount of money for that. So he sold that company, and then he got into something else. And then when he was about 12 or so, when he came back to Jersey, because we would flip flop back and forth to North Carolina, because the boys, his grandmother wanted them to all, grow up underneath that manly realm,
Hmm.
because the father wasn't in the house. So I let him go down and stay with his grandmother and grandfather so he could get that religion part too.
Yes.
And he the things that boy used to say, I used to say, I don't know where you get this from. My mother used to laugh at him because he used to always go, heels, heel, heel. She said, Hezzy, stop, please stop, just please stop. But when he was about, I think maybe in the 7th grade, was when he gave me this scenario. He said, whenever he called me mother, I knew it was something deep. So he said to me, mother. I said, oh, Hezzy, what is it? He said, I don't think I'm gonna live to be 30. I said,
Mm-hmm.
what? I said, get that. I said, yeah, don't even hear that. Don't even want to hear that.
Hmm.
So I went on about my business. And he, every day after that, he became more busy. He was hungry. He
Yeah.
was hungry for whatever he had to do, and he tried to help. The things that I found out after he had passed on, I would cry because I didn't know the things that he was doing. The philanthropist, the part of him that was so kind and gentle. When he would go to the park, he loved to play basketball. Everybody know he loved to play basketball. He would open the trunk of his car. We would go to the outlets, and I would wonder why he's buying all these sneakers. He would buy sneakers for everybody, the kids didn't have. And
Mm.
I'm like, has he was just phenomenal. That boy. I tell you, every day I can just look at him and I miss him, but I know he's doing greater things in a
Yeah.
higher place.
That's it. That's it. And Sharon, the young men, he had a calling on his
Yes, he did. Yes, he
he
did.
had a calling on his life to encourage, uplift, and educate our
Yes, he
young
did.
Black men.
Yes, he did.
And that is why, of course, we brought him into the Young Black Leadership Alliance at that time. And the work that he did with Mr. John Martin and Tammy Martin,
Yes,
the owner
yes,
of the CEO and his wife of the Young Black Leadership Alliance, it was just incredible what he did with our young men, right? And
yes.
we were able to witness that. And he spoke at so many of our conferences, and
Hmm.
his voice was thunderous. I mean,
Yes,
just
yes,
thunderous. And
yes.
it was so amazing. So everyone out there who's listening, if you have not had an opportunity to hear about King Hezekiah Griggs the third, make sure you Google him. Google some of his videos, some of his speaking engagements where he really enlightens people, and he knew everything from A to Z and Z back to A. Sharon, I don't know what he didn't know. I mean, he knew so much.
He did. He grasped everything like a sponge and ate it up. One time he started flipping these words out on me, and I kept saying, "Oh, look, I gotta go to the dictionary. What you talking about?" And we all. I made sure my children were educated. I was a single mom,
Yeah.
and I had to try to get them to, because we were in not such of a good part, but
Hmm.
and I had to make sure that they stay grounded,
Uh-huh.
because the streets could eat you up as fast as anything. But
Yes.
he just wasn't that type of child. he didn't follow suit with anybody else. He was a leader. He wasn't a follower.
That's
You
right.
would never catch him with his pants untied up down his booty. You would never catch him with his sneakers or his shoes untied. He was very meticulous about his clothing.
Yes, yes, he
Very
was.
meticulous about his clothing, and you didn't mess with it. But I kind of knew something was going on with him, like the last days, because he started throwing out or giving away everything. He started giving away, gave away all the shoes and sneakers and stuff.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
he just knew. He just God gave him, told him, I guess your time is almost up, so you were put here to do what you were
To do
supposed to
what you're
do.
supposed to do. To do
And
what you're
he
supposed to do.
went on the glory, child, and you feel me,
Wow.
but I know he's in a better. I
He's
know
in,
he's in a better
he's in
place,
a
and I
better
know he's up
place.
there giving them hell. I say, excuse my language, but that boy, he was a Martin Luther King enthusiast, so he had the ability. And my daughter Chanel is the same way though. They have the ability to remember things and
Yes.
can quote without even
Quote.
looking. They can quote things, and I'm like, my
Yes.
memory, I can't remember what happened to me yesterday. And they, so phenomenal, phenomenal,
Well,
phenomenal.
all the great things inside of you poured into them. That's what it was. That's what
It
it
did. I
is.
ain't gonna
That's
tell no
exactly what it
stories.
is.
It did.
Well, Sharon, I would love and be honored to read Hezekiah's biography
Yes,
so that
ma'am.
everyone will know
Yes, ma'am.
all of his works.
Yes, ma'am.
So, King Hezekiah Griggs III has been called America's youngest media mogul. His name means he who God has strengthened. And at 22, his collective work in the world clearly exhibits the power of a name. Described as a wonder kind, Griggs started his first business at the age of 7. As a teenager, Griggs distinguished himself as one of the most successful young entrepreneurs in the world and began consulting with Fortune 500 companies on their marketing, banking, and media relations with the billion-dollar teen consumer market. Griggs funded HG3 Media in 2003, where he successfully published and operated magazines and media products geared towards teens. The company now operates as a consultative marketing firm, leveraging Griggs' experience and success in youth marketing to help other organizations strategically manage their image and brands. Currently, or at that time, Griggs was the managing partner and CEO of H360 Capital, an early stage venture capital firm. H360 Capital invested in technology startups with market disrupting ideas. As a part of his role, Griggs was responsible for aligning the company internally and externally with the strategic vision of the firm, facilitate partnerships and deals for the firm, and guide the partners towards the central objective of the firm and its administrative and operational activities. Additionally, he served on all investment committees, provided general guidance on deals, and worked to advance the investor and entrepreneur engagement policies of the firm. Griggs was also the chairman of Adjunct, an innovative web startup that specialized in entrepreneur and small business solutions. Hezekiah Griggs III's inspirational journey from poverty to prosperity was a timeless example of empowerment for all who dared to dream. Born into poverty, Griggs' story was not unlike that of many young people in America today. In the face of adversity, Griggs rose above his circumstances and continued to demonstrate what his talent, drive, and ambition had led him to do success after success. His name was synonymous, character-driven success, and his faith and passion had fostered a myriad of business ventures, organizations, and community outreach initiatives that had impacted the lives of countless youth throughout the world. Among his many responsibilities, Griggs served as the chairman of several organizations, including the Hezekiah Griggs III HG3 Foundation, the Initiative for Innovative Leadership and Entrepreneurship, HG3 University, Youth in Business Development Program, the YBDP, and the YBDP National Forum. He was also an active member of several other regional and national nonprofit organizations. He was a recipient of more than 300 awards. Griggs had most recently been honored at the time of this publication as a legend in the making at the 55th anniversary of the Montgomery bus boycott. FIU, Optimus International, AME churches, and the NAACP are among the many organizations that had celebrated and honored Griggs's business and philanthropic initiatives. Hezekiah Griggs III, King Hezekiah, his images, his brand, his products and service offerings embody today's savvy, smart, witty, wired, and creative youth. An authentic voice, an inspiring role model for this generation, Griggs quite simply was a legend in the making. Indeed,
Amen.
he was a legend in the making.
Amen. Yes.
Yes, I just, as I have or had come to know him, and he told me, I'd love to hear his story about how he didn't go to college. Tell us about what happened with him in college.
Well, he had started out at Rutgers, and
Okay.
he was there for a year, and he just said, "Ma, I can't do this. As God is calling me to do something else." So I said, "Well, if God is telling you what to do, you follow what the Lord says."
Yeah.
And as soon as he came out, he just hit it. He started getting people together to get his. And I was his secretary at first. I quit. I couldn't. He's was very meticulous about his work ethics,
Yes.
and
Yes.
if I was a little bit slow, you're too slow, Mike. Okay, I quit. I quit. You got to get somebody else because I watched him handle meetings very professional. You would
Very
never have
professional.
known that boy was as young as he was because he had mentees that were in their 50s and 60s, and here this is a kid telling
Yes.
them how to run their lives and how to run their businesses. And
Mhm.
it was just, and to mention, he was honored at the White House under Barack Obama 3 times. So that
Wow.
within itself was a blessing.
Yes.
You got the first black president, and then you got this young black man and the characteristics of them are similar a little bit because they could walk alike, and he
The stride. They had
yeah,
that
they had that little
swag.
stride, the little swag, yeah, and he was great friends with Bernice King. He loved her to death.
Mhm.
Whenever Bernice was around, he had to go find Bernice. And I know she misses him calling her and everything like that on the phone because he would call her anytime of night. Gotta tell you this and gotta work. Can you help me with this or whatever? But he was a phenomenal young man. I tell anybody, those who didn't get to meet him, they missed the chance.
They missed an
But
incredible
YouTube is always on, so they can always go to YouTube and Google him up and listen to some of the things that he had accomplished as far as you know, doing his things on the television and doing things at churches, and I mean he had bishops standing up. Sometimes
Yes, he did.
yeah, he would get started in the bishops was like, where this boy come from?
Well, it's interesting because when he would come to Charlotte, he'd come to my church there, my home church, St. Paul Baptist Church,
Mm-hmm.
and the pastor would allow him the pulpit. So he
Mm-hmm.
would get in the pulpit, and Sharon, what came out of his mouth next, I wasn't, the first time I heard him do it, I was blown away.
I
He
know.
started singing old spirituals.
Oh yes, he was good for that. Oh Lord Jesus.
And then he went from the spiritual to begin to deliver a word
Yeah.
and quote scripture
Yeah.
and bring it home and had
Yeah.
all of us standing.
Yeah. He he was an old soul. I mean, he liked Otis Redding. What kid do you know in this day and age likes Otis Redding?
Yes,
Sam
yes.
Cooke. He didn't go for all the rap and all that stuff. He would listen. He'll be down there, and then he found the most unique things that he would. Mom, listen to this, and I would listen. Or he would, when he was writing his books, he would
Uh-huh.
always get my confirmation. They always like to have to meet me to read whatever, and I'll tell him, it's fine, it's good, whatever. But yeah, he was something else. That boy, I tell you, oh Jesus, I tell you.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? Let's listen to another video of him
Okay,
speaking.
okay.
Let's see. We're gonna.
Suggested that the 2-year-old economic recovery is slowing, and as economists lower their forecast for growth and job creation for the
Uh-oh.
rest of the year. They're also telling the Fed to butt out when it comes to any further stimulus. That now puts the burden on the private sector to get the economy and job creating back on track. Joining me for more, Hezekiah Griggs III, who is a managing partner of H360 Capital. With that kind of burden, what is the private sector doing to stimulate job growth?
Well, I think the most important thing that happens in private sector activity is the capital activity, which is what we do at H360 Capital. And what we're doing with North is stimulating urban economies to have new job growth activities from an entrepreneur perspective, especially high-end technology jobs. Technology companies founded by technology entrepreneurs can provide greater value to these urban communities. Very important.
So what's the criteria?
Criteria is that you have to be an emergent, market-disrupting technology company. I think, brick and mortar companies don't work anymore. You need fast-growing, fast-paced, economically lean companies that come in and provide great corporate structure, great corporate value, and talent into those communities like North to make things happen.
Okay, what impact do you think it's going to have on the city of Newark?
Oh, with the partnership with Rutgers Center for Urban Entrepreneurship and Economic Development, we particularly are putting in $1.5 million to help 20 to 30 entrepreneurs develop their emergent, disruptive, market disrupting technology companies. That's a tongue twister. But what those are going to do is basically provide North with an opportunity to have fast-growing, fast-paced technology companies that can make a real serious indent on the North metropolis as it is today. Change the culture, change the environment, and change the pathos of what's happening in the city of Newark.
What do these companies have to do to qualify for this kind of program?
They have to have a really big idea and have a really big idea creator in their company. You know, an entrepreneur who understands the value of hard work, the value of technology, the value of what they're doing. Somebody who has a common sense wherewithal of trying to change the world is somebody that we're looking at H360 Capital or any venture firm is looking for in the next coming months and years as we try to change into that new technology revolution that's taking place in America.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible. Oh my goodness. Just in that alone. So, Sharon, what I do is I work with women to help them clarify their vision. And I work with life and business coaches and entrepreneurs. And so when I think about Hezekiah's life and the work that he did, you know, Hezekiah was such an encourager. So for women out there who need some encouragement and need to know how to own your space, you need to Google King Hezekiah Griggs, because a lot of business, Sharon, is just really owning it, you know, and especially if you are new into business. And I primarily work with women in that 0 to 3 year phase,
Right?
Really just owning it and having confidence and knowing that God has given you everything that you need to do what you need to do. And Hezekiah was not college trained. He dropped out of college, right?
Exactly. No.
So likewise, God had given him everything that he needed, and the impact that he made was tremendous. I mean, he walked it, he owned it. When he walked into a room, it was as if if people weren't there to see him, it was as if, oh yeah, they're here to see me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when he opened his mouth, the things that came out, you had to be ready for it.
You had to be ready. If you weren't ready, you missed it.
You missed it. And he had such a passion. So the things that, you know, the nuggets that we can take away, there's so many that we can take away from King Hezekiah's life, you know, his works. He definitely was an entrepreneur of entrepreneurs, and he knew business. He knew business. He was well versed in business. And then he loved the Lord, Sharon.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
My goodness. So when did he start preaching? That's what I want to know.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's a funny joke though. We're Amy Zions.
Yes.
So you know, it depends on which one you go to, because sometimes you can get hooping and hollering, and sometimes the pastors are just very straightforward.
Yes.
So we had this one pastor one time. He was an older man, and as he was sitting on the front benches, they would have the kids come up the front. So after he preached, he said, stood up and said, I can preach better than you. He was 4 years old.
4?
4. And after that, he would start telling us these stories, and I'm like, "What?" It was like he was reincarnated because he was telling us these stories that no young kid at that age would even know. These streets he was giving us, I'm like, he ain't never been over there to Patterson and know these streets and all that other kind of stuff. He was here before, and he
Yes.
came back as an old man, and he put it out there. He was something else. That boy, and he preached and he preached, and then when I don't know what happened, but something happened during this course. And if you didn't, and if he felt some kind of way, he would move on. He wouldn't ask you one time, and if he didn't feel it within himself, he would move on.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times that's the reason why maybe I could say that he wasn't too much into Zion, too much up in the north, because they had some type of thing going on, and he just said, "That's it." He would move on. He would go down to the southern states, and he would preach. He would be over at Paul Morton's church, and all over the place. So
Yes.
he was phenomenal. Like I said, I keep saying he's phenomenal. He was something else, girl. You know personally how he was. So
I know personally. Like I said,
yes,
he would come to Charlotte and he said, Mama Pam, I'm in town. And he would come, and of course, he would be working with the young men. He had
yes.
mentees all over the
Oh,
world.
yes, he
He had
did. All
mentees
over the
all,
world.
all over the world.
Yes,
And what was so interesting is, and really intriguing, Hezekiah knew all of them by name, and there are thousands,
yes, yes,
thousands of young men, and they could call him 24 hours a day, 7 days a
yes,
week.
yes.
And I remember him coming, and I mean, he would spend countless hours, Sharon,
Mhm.
countless hours,
Mhm.
just talking to them.
Mhm.
Just nonstop until they were done, not him,
Mhm.
until they
Mhm.
were done asking him questions. And
Mhm.
then he would, even my son,
Mhm.
and I'd never forget, he had my son write a letter to himself.
To himself. Yep. I love that. I love that.
And it was the most powerful, powerful thing because it really had my son stop and think,
Yep.
and it also had him acknowledge, of course, some of his opportunities in terms of his challenges that he knew that he had within himself,
Yes.
right? And that was Hezekiah,
That was him. That was him.
that was
That was
Hezekiah.
him.
Just
And
always respectful.
yes.
You
Always.
raised him so well.
I'm proud. I'm
You
so
should
proud.
be.
That was
You
my
should
son.
be.
I tell anybody that was my son. His father even said, "I'm sorry, Sharon, but that was your son." Yes, he was. He was my son.
Oh, honey, he loved him, mama. His
His mama, he
mama,
showed
he
did.
loved. He talked about you all the
Yes,
time.
I know that's
And
right.
so I said, I hope your mama don't mind you calling me Mama Pam, because that's what
Oh
he
no,
called
that's
me.
no problem, honey. Because when I wasn't there, somebody had to be his mama.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And he would be on the road traveling, and he called him
Yes.
like, okay, stay safe, son. Just stay
Yeah.
safe.
That was the only thing that bothered me. Like he was always on the move. I didn't even
Yeah,
know. And a lot of times, I have a little joke with this though. It's about the Chicago thing.
yeah.
Has he? But after a while, stopped telling us where he was going. So I said to him, I said, "Hezzy, where you going?" "Oh, I'll let you know when I get there." So when he got wherever he was, I said, "Well, Hezzy, where are you?" "I'm not gonna tell you this time, Ma." So my grandson happened to be about 2 years old or whatever. And I said to my daughter, Shakisha, I said, where is Hezzy? Because she usually knew. And she said, "I don't know, Ma." But the baby said, "Uncle Hezzy went to Chicago."
The baby.
So I called Hezzy up and I said, "Hezzy, I know where you at. You in Chicago." He said, "Well, how you found that?" I said, "Kobe told me." He said, "I bet y'all won't talk in front of him no more." And that was the end of that. Yes.
The
Yes,
baby
yes,
told
yes.
on
The
him.
baby told on him. So he would go in the car and talk. He would not talk in the house no more.
Wow, wow. Well, I can tell you that every time we were together, you were at the center of a conversation, and his family, his
Yeah.
sisters,
Oh,
his
oh
family.
yes.
He
I
loved his siblings.
I raised them to. I said, I'm not going to be here always. So I raised them to be dependent on one another,
Yes,
to make
yes,
sure that they had a close bond, and they had a very close bond. To
Yes.
this day, you can't break them apart. You just can't.
Mm.
You just can't.
Yeah.
And when that happened, that was our king. You could
Yeah.
somebody done mess with the king,
Yeah.
and it tore the family up a little bit. But I still have one last son. And I told him, I said, well, look, you ain't gonna be riding the rules like your brother. So you're gonna have to stay
Mhm.
home and be around mommy, because I can't lose another son. I only
Mhm.
got, God only gives you so many boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but yeah, they're a very close knit family, very close knit. Those kids don't separate for nothing.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, you
Yeah,
have done an incredible job.
I
And
did. I'm proud of me.
yeah, 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 you should be. You should be because
I am.
King Hezekiah, he was something. He was a connector of people.
Yes.
He just loved life. He loved
Yes.
life. He loved giving. And he was always on a mission. And you know what, Sharon, the last words that Hezekiah shared with me, I remember I was at an airport and he called me and we were talking about, and I can't remember, he called me because something had happened in the world. And he said to him, Mama Pam, have you heard? And I can't remember what that thing was. But then he said to me, Mama Pam, we've got work to do. Those are the last words he said to me. We've got work to do.
Yep.
And he was about living life to the
Yep.
full and making an impact with every breath he took. And
Yep.
he shared the same thing with me as well. He told me that he didn't feel like he was going to live
Oh, he
for a
told
very
me the
long
same
time.
thing. Yeah.
He shared the same with me.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I think that was his driving force because he was
Yes.
so in tune to
Yes.
his life and what God had for him to do. He was
Yes.
constantly on a mission, you know,
Always. Always.
always on a mission, always on a mission. And so, as we talk about the nuggets that we can learn and glean from his life, if we can encourage people out there to always be on a mission with every breath, because tomorrow's not promised, is it, Sharon?
Amen. Yes.
It is not
Amen.
promised. And so we have got to find out what our purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
Hezekiah knew what his purpose was,
He
didn't he,
sure
Sharon?
did.
He knew it.
Did.
He
Sure
knew
did.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived it to the full.
Yes,
So
he
I
did.
want to end on this note. I have one more video to share,
Okay.
and it's him talking about this very thing, and that's living life to the full. So hold
Okay.
1 second. I'm going to bring it in.
You're capable of answering it with such degree of perfection that there is no confusion relative to who you are, what you want to accomplish in your life, and what you intend on doing with the opportunities you get in life. And if you can't answer a question as to what it is that you do or what it is that you want to do with such perfection that the person you're talking to doesn't comprehend everything that you're saying, then you're not living in your purpose. Henry Thoreau says, if a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears the beat of a different drummer. Let him step to the music in which he hears, however measured, no matter how far away. In Henry Thoreau, we understand that everybody has their own calling. Everyone has their own purpose. Everyone walks to their own drummer, and you have to hear it for yourself. This is really important. Churchill says, if you have an important point to make, hit it once, hit it again, hit it a third time, a tremendous whack. What I mean to say is, if you have a purpose that's clearly identifiable, that's perfectly understood by other people, every time you say it, speak it, people understand who you are, what you want to accomplish with your life, and what you intend on doing. But the problem is, so many of you don't do that, right? And so you wonder what your purpose is. You go around and you say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I don't know my purpose. Well, you haven't found anything that really relates to who you are as an individual, because you can't answer the most basic question in the human understanding of life, and that is, why are you here? And the reason why you're here is not to make money. No one's purpose is to make money. No one's purpose is to be better than the next person, right? Your purpose in life, truly, is to die stronger than when you started. And if you die stronger than when you started, If when your life is over, people remember you for the things that you did, for the man that you were, the woman that you were, then you truly lived a life full of purpose. Then you truly understood your purpose. And I close by saying one of my favorite speeches by Dr. King that I often quote when I speak about King is his drum major instinct speech. In connection to Thoreau, where he says you march to the beat of your own drummer, Dr. King relates to us that the drum major is the one that leads the sound, right? And so in order to march to your own drummer, you have to be the leader of you. You have to know who you are when other people are around you. By definition, I believe that in order to really be of purpose and in order to really know your purpose, you have to be a servant, right? You have to do something bigger than you. Not about money, not about accomplishment, not about power, not about titles, not about particular roles. It's about what you're doing to help other people.
Wow, wow,
That
wow.
was awesome.
Awesome, powerful. That was
Yeah,
Hezekiah. That was King Hezekiah.
that was him. That was just him right there, plain and simple. That was him.
Gosh,
He lived by that. He didn't just tell people. He didn't throw out something and tell you something. Then he didn't do it. He lived by what his word was.
that's right. That's right.
So
His word was bond.
exactly, it was fine.
Whatever he said he was going to do,
He did it.
he did it.
He
He
did it.
did it.
Yep.
You know, I admired him, such a young man, and so I think I've met him. I think he was 22. It's about
Mm-hmm.
22 or 23. So he was just on fire. You know,
Fire.
he rode into Charlotte,
I
and
know
I
he
said,
did.
"Who is this old young man?"
Yes, yes. That's what they call him, the old young man.
Just incredible. Wow. So, with that, do you have any final words to share with us about King Hezekiah?
Well, I'm just thankful to God that God allowed me to bring him. It wasn't for me, it was for the world. To share my son with the world and let everybody know how great you can be if you put your mind to it. And I thank you so much for allowing me to be here, and also for acknowledging my son on this great month of Black History. And it's something that should be said. Everybody needs to give forum, and his forum was great, and people should follow. If they follow what he said, then they can live greater lives too.
Amen. 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 And then on that note, I hope y'all heard it. You heard it here today. Your
Yes.
inspiration, y'all should have been here today. If not, go back and watch the replay if you're just joining in. I thank you for joining. But you have heard it from King Hezekiah's mom, a true gem,
Thank you,
a
darling. You
true
are
gem.
so. Thank you.
Yes. So God bless you. God keep you and your family. We will continue to celebrate King Hezekiah's life. And every year, as long as I'm living,
Hallelujah.
we're going to celebrate. As a matter of fact, I remember when I had an opportunity to grace the stage of the MLK breakfast, is one of the largest in the
Mm-hmm.
Southeast in
Yes.
Charlotte.
Yes. Yes.
I had to talk about King Hezekiah. People
Yes.
had to know about the young king. And so I will continue to lift.
Thank you so much, Pamela. I really
You're
appreciate that.
welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. It is my pleasure. He surely impacted my life, and I want him to continue to impact lives as people learn more about him.
Yes.
So God bless you, everyone. Make it a great day. And hold just 1 second, Jen. I'm gonna put you backstage, and then hold on, okay? And then I'm
Okay,
gonna
baby.
come out and join you. All right, so y'all have heard about King Hezekiah. I thank you for joining us today in celebration of course, Black History Month, and helping you understand a little bit more about the life of King Hezekiah. So again, we invite you to Google him, learn more about him, because he truly was a young man beyond his time. He had been here before, but he was ahead of time. And so I want to encourage you to learn more about him and be blessed by the lessons from his life, because he taught. He was a teacher. Everything he did, he taught. So please look him up, learn about him, and live like him. So God bless you. Please join me this Saturday if we have women out there who are interested in learning more about coaching with confidence. Please join me this Saturday for the Coach with Confidence Masterclass. And I will go ahead and post the link, but we will be doing that at 1 p.m. Central Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Time this coming Saturday. And so please definitely join me. Everyone, make it a great week. Stay warm. We are in the middle of a snowstorm here in Texas, y'all. In Texas, we got snow, we got ice, and we're in the house. Some people are losing their power. So please, y'all, stay safe, stay warm. God bless you, and make the most of this day.